Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. So we're going to be discussing the carjacking slash Taft shooting case. They have definitely come together, and there is a lot of development since Thursday, Friday of last week. I'm going to play a good majority of the presser with Sheriff Lima, and he gave us quite the update. But I am going to give you guys a basic info on the two cases, like I said, and I also am going to go over some of the individuals that are involved once he does the presser, so you guys can better understand the folks involved. But these are our two victims, Catherine and Juan. Juan was the one, he was killed in the shooting the evening prior. And on the right is Catherine. She was the one that was carjacked in broad daylight. Even though the carjacking happened after the Taft shooting, the day after, the carjacking case in Seminole County is what actually started to put all the pieces together and show law enforcement that these cases were in fact related. So the carjacking case, basically on April 11th, Catherine Guerrero, a resident of the Miami-Dade County city, drove up to Seminole County, Florida. Not long after she stopped for gas, a green Acura began plowing into the back of her white Dodge Durango, and when the vehicle stopped at a red light, a masked suspect armed with a 10mm gun stepped out of that Acura and forced their way into her Durango. Authorities believe that this individual forced her to drive. A witness was able to take some video and call 911 for help. And in the previous video, you guys can hear the 911 call and again see the video. I do have a playlist I just set up for this case because I'm starting to cover it constantly here, so you guys can keep up with it. Officials stated that just an hour and 45 minutes later, their counterparts in Osceola County, they got a call for service regarding gunshots and a burning vehicle. They believe that car was the Dodge Durango that was driven by the carjacking victim. Now, positive identification is still pending, but the body discovered at the scene is believed to be Catherine Guerrero. So that is kind of where things started out with this case. Then we jump backwards just the evening prior, and the Taft shooting. A man was killed in a shooting in a Taft neighborhood of Orange County, which is in Orlando, on Wednesday night, April 10th. So this was again the evening before this carjacking occurred in the late afternoon of April 11th. Shortly before 10 p.m., deputies responded to the 9600 block of 8th Avenue regarding a shooting and found a man who had been shot. He was rushed to a local hospital where he died. Officials said he was reported in his 30s. He's been since identified as 39-year-old Juan Luis Cintron Garcia, which is these are the two victims in the photos here, right here. That's Juan and that is Catherine. So that is kind of the basics of the case as far as the two main crimes. Of course, a lot more developments do come, so let me play the presser from Seminole County on Friday, and then we will discuss some of the suspects slash persons of interest.
Okay, thank you so much for being here. This will be the third update that we're providing on the Catherine Aguas Vivas murder case, kidnapping case. And what's incredibly important is that we continue to advise the public as timely as we can as this case evolves. Over the past week, many of the experts that the news channels have brought in to talk about complicated and sophisticated cases like this have been absolutely correct. Over the past week, our detectives have been working with our judiciary, subpoenaing records from phones, other pieces of evidence, video evidence from crime scenes, and we're still waiting for a lot of that information to come back. We knew that initially Catherine had been traveling north from Homestead I think the initial report that we had relayed to you that her husband, Miguel, had provided information to our detectives initially that she was coming up to visit family members. We said at the time we did not know of any family members that were located in the area. We've since located at least 2 family members, but neither one of them were expecting a visit from Catherine at the time. When she was on her way traveling up here, probably around 4 p.m. in the afternoon, when she was probably in the area of downtown Orlando on I-4, there was likely a communication, a phone call that occurred through a FaceTime communication. We had reported that the husband, Miguel, had provided his phone and was cooperative, but we thought that there was a lot of details that he was leaving out, is what I said at the last news conference. Her brother, Louis, has also been providing information and also gave his telephone up voluntarily for forensic examination, and actually was conducting, by his words, his own independent investigation. He did not contact law enforcement to do that, but he reached out from a computer that was connected to an iPhone through an iCloud account and found a contact that looked like it was the last person that Catherine had spoken with. And then, by his report, he called that person and he said he did not know who that person was. He screenshotted an image of the person that he called. We have later identified that person. I'm going to call him Giovani for now. There's going to be a lot of names here, but I'm going to call him Giovani. We'll release his full name at the conclusion of this press conference. He takes a still photo, does not know who the person is, and sends it to our detectives. The forensic examination of his phone shows a greater picture of not only the person that he sent us the photograph of, but he was actually in FaceTime. So it's a FaceTime photograph of Louis talking with this person who we now know to be Giovani. We identified Giovani by taking the photograph that is contained in the image that is released, running it through a database called Faces that's run in Pinellas County by the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, and it matches with 98.6% a 2019 arrest in Orange County, a booking image that identifies the person as Giovani. Giovani and his girlfriend, will use her last name for this, as SoDo. They reside in Castleberry. As detectives are awaiting a lot of the investigative reports to come back on the phone tolls, photographs, 417 cameras, all of these things, we ultimately, through surveillance, established probable cause to conduct a search warrant of the home in Castleberry where Giovani and his girlfriend SoDo live. We conduct the search warrant after Giovani and SoDo leave the residence. We go inside and ultimately find fentanyl, a gun, the gun not a 10 millimeter, and likely not related to this particular crime. And ultimately, Giovani is facing charges for that. While we're conducting the search warrant, we get contacted by our federal partners at HSI that SoDo, the girlfriend of Giovani, and an occupant of the house in Castleberry that we're executing a search warrant on, takes and accepts delivery of 3 kilos of cocaine after it was mailed in through the mail. United States Postal Service intercepted that. A delivery was made in Osceola County, where SoDo collects that delivery. She is arrested, facing federal charges, and currently incarcerated in Osceola County under a federal hold looking at that. Giovani is facing Seminole County charges of trafficking fentanyl, and then we will release specific details and ask for the public's assistance to help us locate him. We've got his photo. We're going to put a photo up on the screen later in this news conference. Going back to the vehicle, I said that the green Acura was incredibly unique. There were 3 in the state, 2 were salvaged. There was only 1 that was out there, but there was no license plate on the Acura. In a previous news conference, I said it was legitimately owned by a family in Castleberry. They sold it to a dealership or traded it at a dealership. It went to an auto auction and then ultimately ended up in a buy here, pay here that does a lot of their marketing and sales on Facebook Marketplace. When they post that on Facebook Marketplace, a person with a profile name of Jordan LaTroy reaches out, does not speak English, and then ultimately shows up at the car dealership to purchase that green Acura. The profile photograph on the Facebook profile that's used to communicate with the buy here, pay here dealership, we'll put an image up on the screen here of that profile picture. Back one slide. And you can see it appears that the profile picture taken in January is somebody wearing exactly the same clothes, or what appears to be exactly the same clothes as our shooter. A backtrack of a phone number that is given with the purchase of the green Acura, and I remember I had said in the previous news conference that the purchaser never came back to finalize the deal, is why there was no tag ever registered to the vehicle. A phone number that was used in that communication links back through an Orange County Sheriff's Office burglary report of somebody with the name of Jordanish Torres Garcia. We'll put his photograph up there. Jordanish Torres Garcia. Again, the name used in that profile is Jordan LaTroy. The phone number that he uses links back to his legitimate legal name, Jordanish Torres Garcia, or as he goes by Jordan, 28 years old. He had an active felony warrant for weapons possession, and with the assistance of the U.S. Marshals, the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and the Seminole County Sheriff's Office, we now have him in custody here at the Sheriff's Office. We arrested him in Orange County as he was walking in to a business on Orange Avenue, south of I think it's Oak Ridge, a couple miles south of Oak Ridge. And this photograph is a photograph that was taken at the time of the arrest just after noon today. Again, he is here at our office being interviewed for his connection in this crime. Now, back to the comparison of photographs, please. We can go back to that. I'm identifying him as a person of interest because when it comes to legal cases, that's probably the safest thing to call him. But his phone number is matching the phone number that was given with the person who purchased the green Acura. The profile that is connected to him, the image on the right, or in front of what looks like a location, a tourist location in Orlando, is the profile image that he has had up there since January. And then, of course, the photograph of the crime scene of what he's wearing looks to me like it's identical, right? So I don't know how strong you can emphasize a person of interest. He's not going to be released. He has federal charges that he's going to be held on, and this investigation will continue. All of this is without yet getting the tolls and the records that we have subpoenaed out there. We still don't know yet who the other occupant in the green Acura is. We'll continue to work that angle of the investigation. But again, this is great police work, great investigative follow-up, a collaboration between the FBI, the DEA, the Orange County Sheriff's Office, the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, HSI, and our media partners who have been doing an outstanding job keeping this on the forefront of everyone's attention, front and center of what's going on. The communication that Lewis has provided us was less than forthcoming. Still, Lewis and Miguel being the husband, Lewis being the brother, are not suspects. We're not charging them at this time. But there again, Lewis's communication with us was that he talked to this person on the phone, which we now know to be Giovani. He tells us, Lewis tells us, that Giovani says that Catherine was up here to deliver money and other stuff for a friend. Now, again, I'm not going to speculate, but he says to us she was up here to deliver money and other stuff for a friend. And again, person of interest, Jordan Torres Garcia, is in custody here at the sheriff's office, is being interviewed right now by detectives. The other person of interest we're looking for is Giovani. We'll release Giovanni's full information, and we will have media packets that kind of summarize as much as we can. Again, incredibly complicated investigation that has twists and turns, but in just about a week, I think that there's great progress in this investigation without getting a lot of the court documents and records back yet. When those records come back, I think it's going to be able to put a lot of the pieces of the puzzle that are still outstanding together.
As the sheriff stated, there's been a lot of work done on this case, and I agree. The investigators have done an exceptional job on this case, and I'm very impressed with the Seminole County Sheriff's Department on this case alone. I know I saw some folks in the initial presser chat, and they were asking Sheriff Lima if his team could work the Maddie SoDo case. It doesn't exactly work like that, guys. It's two different counties, and it's not. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. But I understand what they mean. His team is doing an excellent job, and they're working in accordance with Orange County, Osceola County, federal, Homeland Security. So this is a big deal. So this is Jordanish Torres Garcia. He's the one that was arrested, and he is believed to be allegedly, because they have not charged him yet, he is allegedly the actual carjacker with the gun that we saw on the video. So again, we have to say allegedly because he's just a person of interest at this point. But he is in custody right now for on other charges. He is in jail on other charges right now. He is the individual linked to the car. Again, this is Jordanish Torres Garcia. He's 28 years old. He's sitting in the Seminole County Jail on unrelated federal probation violation on a drug case. He's got quite the rap sheet. For those that are interested, I could go through that in another video if you want. I was able to look a lot of that up. I'm just kind of focusing on what he's being held on right now. And then, of course, the impending charges that he will be hopefully facing soon in regards to the carjacking and potentially the shooting in Taft the evening before. His phone number matched, like as the sheriff stated, the phone number matched the number of the person who purchased the green Acura some time ago. The investigation revealed Torres Garcia is connected to the green Acura used in the crime. In addition, Torres Garcia's Facebook profile photo showed him wearing the same mask and outfit as the suspect in the carjacking video. And I will show this in a larger photo here. They did show it in the presser. But if you look at that, what he's wearing in that right photo there, it looks to me like the same thing that the suspect was wearing that got out of that green Acura and pointed that gun at Catherine. So I believe that they have their right man on this one. Then we jump to Monica Sable Romero SoDo. She is the girlfriend of the one that's on the run, which we're going to go through that slide in just a moment here. She's the one that was arrested by Homeland Security in Osceola County on April 17th. She's 27 years old. An unknown individual used a lamp fixture to hide 3 kilos of cocaine and mailed the lamp from Puerto Rico to Osceola County. Now, she's the one, Romero SoDo, who showed up with a baby at the house in Osceola County to pick up said lamp, which contained 3 kilos of cocaine. So she's charged with that. And they also found a lot more stuff at her home as well. Because the warrant, like he said, the warrant was being served about the same time that she was doing her little trip to Osceola County to pick up her cocaine lamp. And here is our person of interest on the run. This is Giovani Joe Crispo Hernandez. Let me tell you, these guys have a lot of names, and some of them are hard to say. The search for him continues. I haven't heard as of today, Monday evening, as I record this, that he's been taken into custody yet. I haven't heard that. Of course, that could change at any moment, and hopefully that's the case. They searched his home last week, where he lived with his girlfriend, Romero SoDo, which we just looked at in the previous slide. And they found cash, fentanyl, and a firearm in their residence. And they believe he may potentially be the driver of that Acura. So that's what they are looking for him, because he's got other charges, but he may be the other one in that Acura, and he may be another shooter from the Taft shooting as well. And finally, last but not least at all, Deputy Francisco Arrella. He's the deputy that got in a lot of trouble. On April 14th, deputies arrested Francisco Arrella in Orange County. The deputy's wife was allegedly a childhood friend of Aguas Vivas, and I applaud Sheriff Lima, because he says that name seems effortlessly to me. And Arrella was accused of misusing his position to get him information about the carjacking investigation. Now, he's now facing charges including disclosure or use of confidential criminal justice information, unlawful use of two-way communication device, and accessing computer or electronic devices without authorization or exceeding authorization. And he is currently out on bond, wearing an ankle monitor, and I don't still know if he's been fired or if he's on suspension, but I'm going to assume, my opinion is, if he's on suspension, he's probably going to be fired soon if he's not already. But again, that's just my feeling on it, because Mina has already spoken out saying that they don't have any place for folks like Arrella in their department, so I assume that he's going to be looking for work. So again, these are our 2 victims, and I think we're finally getting somewhere, and I believe, just like the sheriff said, that this team, these investigators, exceptionally well done. Exceptionally well done. The amount of information that they've been able to uncover in this short amount of time, and even since last week, amazing. I applaud them. I applaud each and every one of them. And I'm going to get justice for these 2 here. And irregardless if Catherine was carrying, drugs or what have you in her vehicle, that doesn't excuse being carjacked and pew-pewed and set on fire. And as far as Juan is concerned, I still think he may just have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, sort of thing. I think he, since he towed that Acura, I think that he pissed off the guy, these criminals, and they just wanted to get back at him. But I heard, for all we know, he's got ties as well. I don't know. But again, none of this stuff is worth killing somebody over. Of course, criminals don't give a crap. I really feel bad for their children and their families right now, and my heart goes out to them. But again, we're going to keep up on this one, guys. So this is a huge case in Central Florida right now. And I believe we're going to have complete resolution very, very soon. Although we never really know how deep this stuff goes. I mean, we're involving Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So who knows? And again, we've got 3 counties. So I don't know how deep it goes. I mean, sadly, a lot of this stuff is... Sometimes you're just scratching the surface, But any criminals that law enforcement can get off of our streets to keep us safer, I applaud them and I thank them for their hard work. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.